and welcome back to Friday Reads, where we help you find your next read. I'm Jill.
And I'm Julie, and we're sitting in the library today, and today we're going to talk thrillers. There's been some new thrillers that have come out since we last did one of these. So, Jill, what's your first pick in the thriller category?
My first pick is Watching You by Lisa Jewell. Melville Heights is one of the nicest neighborhoods in Bristol, England, home to doctors and lawyers and old money academics. It's not the sort of place where people are brutally murdered in their own kitchens, but it is the sort of place where everyone has a secret and everyone is watching you. As the headmaster credited with turning around the local school, Tom Fitzwilliam is beloved by one and all, including Joy Mullen, his new neighbor, who quickly develops an intense infatuation with this thoroughly charming yet unavailable man. Joy thinks her crush is a secret, but Tom's teenage son, Freddie, a prodigy with aspirations of becoming a spy for M15, excels in observing people and has witnessed Joy behaving strangely around his father. One of Tom's students, Jenna Tripp, also lives in the same street, and she's not convinced her teacher is as squeaky clean as she seems. For one thing, she has taken a particular liking to her best friend and fellow classmate, and Jenna's mother, whose mental health has admittedly been deteriorating in recent years, and is convinced that Mr. Fitzwilliam is stalking her. Meanwhile, 20 years earlier, a schoolgirl writes her in her diary, charting her doomed obsession with a handsome young English teacher named Mr. Fitzwilliam. So, yeah, Watching You. Neighborhood, everyone's watching. Sounds like there's something fishy going on.
My first pick is one of Reese's Book Club picks. If you remember, we did that as one of our videos, and that is Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Jillian McAllister, and it was just published last year. Can you stop a murder after it's already happened? Late October, after midnight. You're waiting for your 17-year-old son. He's late. As you watch from the window, he emerges, and you realize he isn't alone. He's walking toward a man, and he's armed. You can't believe it when you see him do it. Your funny, happy teenager kills a stranger right there on the street outside your home. You don't know who. You don't know why. You only know your son is now in custody, and his future is shattered. That night, you fall asleep in despair. All is lost. Until you wake, and it is yesterday. And then you wake again, and it is the day before yesterday. Every morning you wake up a day earlier, another day before the murder, with another chance to stop it. Somewhere in the past lies an answer, the trigger for this crime, and you don't have a choice but to find it. So, check out Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Jillian McAllister.
Time travel murder mystery. That sounds fun. My next one is Claire McIntosh, another favorite in this category. This is Hostage. This was published in 2021. This is a claustrophobic thriller set over 20 hours on one airplane flight, with a heart-stopping tension of the last flight and the wrenching emotional intensity of Room. Mina is trying to focus on her job as a flight attendant, not the problems of her 5-year-old daughter back home or the fissures in her marriage. But the plane has barely taken off when Mina receives a chilling note from an anonymous passenger, someone intent on ensuring the plane never reaches its destination, someone who needs Mina's assistance and who knows exactly how to make her comply. It's 20 hours to landing. A lot can happen in 20 hours. This was published in 2021.
My second pick is another new one published last year, and this is The Golden Couple by Greer Hendricks. Wealthy Washington suburbanites Marissa and Matthew Bishop seem to have it all, until Marissa is unfaithful. Beneath the veneer of perfection is a relationship driven by work and a lack of intimacy. She wants to repair things for the sake of their 8-year-old son and because she loves her husband. Enter Avery Chambers. Avery is a therapist who lost her professional license. Still, it doesn't stop her from counseling those in crisis, though they have to adhere to her unorthodox methods, and the Bishops are desperate. When they glide through Avery's door and Marissa reveals her infidelity, all three are set on a collision course because the biggest secrets in the room are still hidden, and it's no longer simply a marriage that's in danger. So, Lisa Jewell, who Jill had a book by her, said this book was her favorite kind of thriller, a guessing game filled with characters you care about and twists you don't see coming. So, check out The Golden Couple by Greer Hendricks.
This next one is an author I'm not familiar with, but maybe some of you are. Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. This was the Goodreads Choice Award winner for Best Horror in 2022. So there's that. A mystery about women working as a nanny for a young boy with a strange and disturbing secret. Fresh out of rehab, Mallory Quinn takes a job in an affluent suburb of Springbrook, New Jersey as a babysitter for Ted and Carolyn Maxwell. She is to look after their 5-year-old son, Teddy. Mallory immediately loves this new job. She lives in the Maxwell's pool house, goes out for nightly runs, and has the stability she craves. And she sincerely bonds with Teddy, a sweet, shy boy who is never without his sketchbook and pencil. His drawings are the usual fare, trees, rabbits, balloons, but one day he draws something different, a man in the forest, dragging a woman's lifeless body. As the days pass, Teddy's artwork becomes more and more sinister, and his stick figures evolve into more detailed, complex, and lifelike sketches well beyond the ability of any 5-year-old. Mallory begins to suspect these are glimpses into the unsolved murder from long ago, perhaps replayed by a supernatural force lingering in the forest behind the Maxwell's house. With help from a handsome landscaper and an eccentric neighbor, Mallory sets out to decipher the image and save Teddy while coming to terms with the tragedy of her own past before it's too late. So, creepy pictures.
My third pick is also a new one, and this is All Good People Here by Ashley Flowers. This, again, was published last year. It's the propulsive debut novel from the host of the #1 true crime podcast, Crime Junkie. And in this story, a journalist uncovers her hometown's dark secrets when she becomes obsessed with the unsolved murder of her childhood neighbor and the disappearance of another girl 20 years later. Everyone from Wakarusa, Indiana remembers the case of January Jacobs, who was found dead in a ditch hours after her family awoke to find her gone. Margot Davies was 6 at the time, the same age as January, and they were next-door neighbors. In the 20 years since, Margot has grown up, moved away, and become a big city journalist, but she's always been haunted by the fear that it could have been her. When Margot returns home to help care for her sick uncle, it feels like walking into a time capsule. The town is exactly how she remembered, genial, stifled, secretive. Then news breaks about 5-year-old Natalie Clark from the next town over, who's gone missing under eerily similar circumstances. With all the old feelings rushing back, Margot vows to find Natalie and solve January's murder once and for all. But the police, the family, the townspeople, they all seem to be hiding something. And the deeper Margot digs into Natalie's disappearance, the more resistance she's encountering, and the colder January's case feels. Could the killer still be out there? Could it be the same person who kidnapped Natalie? And what will it cost to finally discover what truly happened that night? So, sounds like a good one.
This next one I could totally relate to. It's called The Change by Kristen Miller, and it's about women going through the change. After Nessa James' husband dies and her twin daughters leave for college, she's left all alone in a trim white house not far from the ocean. In the quiet of her late 40s, the former nurse begins to hear voices. It doesn't take long for Nessa to realize that the voices calling out to her belong to the dead, a gift she's inherited from her grandmother, which comes with special responsibilities. On the cusp of 50, suave advertising director Harriet Osborne has just witnessed the implosion of her lucrative career in her marriage. She hasn't left her house in months, and from the outside, it appears as if she and her garden have both gone to seed. But Harriet's life is far from over. In fact, she's undergone a stunning and very welcoming metamorphosis. Ambitious former executive Jo Levison has spent 30 long years at war with her body. The free-floating rage and hot flashes that arrive with the beginning of menopause feel like the very last straw, until she realizes that she has the ability to channel them and finally comes into her power. Guided by voices only Nessa can hear, this trio of women discover a teenage girl whose body was abandoned beside a remote beach. The police have written the victim off as a drug-addicted sex worker, but the women refuse to buy into the official narrative. Their investigation into the girl's murder leads to more bodies and the town's most exclusive and isolated enclave, a world of stupendous wealth where the rules don't apply. With their newfound powers, Jo, Nessa, and Harriet will take matters into their own hands. So they're going through the change and they're getting superpowers for it, and they're going to solve a murder. I mean, what could be better?
My fourth pick is Alice Feeney's Daisy Darker. Did you read this one, Jill?
I have it on my
I
stack.
was going to say, you've got it in your stack. This is a story about a family reunion that leads to murder. After years of avoiding each other, Daisy Darker's entire family is assembling for Nana's 80th birthday party in Nana's crumbling Gothic house on a tiny tidal island. Finally back together one last time, when the tide comes in, they will be cut off from the rest of the world for 8 hours. The family arrives, each of them harboring secrets. Then at the stroke of midnight, as a storm rages, Nana is found dead, and an hour later the next family member follows. It's kind of a wicked wink to Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. And this one is another one of those where it says those unforgettable twists will leave readers reeling. So, if you kind of like Agatha Christie's Then There Were None, check out Alice Feeney. She's the author of Rock, Paper, Scissors. Check out her Daisy Darker.
My last book is Every Last Secret by A.R. Torrey. This is another neighborhood book, but you never know what's going on in those neighborhoods. Welcome to the neighborhood. Watch your husband, watch your friends, watch your back.
Uh-oh.
Kat Winthrop has worked hard to get what she has, a gorgeous home, social standing, and William, her successful, handsome husband. Then a friendly new couple moves into the estate next door. While cautious, a good neighbor like Kat greets them with open arms and warm hospitality. Nina Ryder isn't a fellow lady of leisure, a life coach with off-the-rack dresses, personal issues, and a husband who hasn't delivered. She's anxious to move up in the world. This beautiful new town is a step in the right direction. It's also making Nina aware of what she doesn't have, namely William. When Nina's infatuation escalates into obsession, it's just a matter of eliminating a few obstacles to get what she wants. The life next door.
Uh-oh.
As Nina's secret fixation grows, as does her friendship with Kat. But beneath their cordial interaction is a wealth of temptations, secrets, and toxic jealousy. For both women, the desire for the perfect life can turn perfectly dangerous. So,
My last book is also a new one. I tried to go for new stuff. This was again published last year, and this is Hide by Kirsten White. It's a high-stakes hide-and-seek competition which turns deadly in a dark supernatural thriller. So, the challenge, spend a week hiding in an abandoned amusement park and don't get caught. The prize, enough money to change everything. Even though everyone is desperate to win, to seize their dream future, or escape their haunting pasts, Mac feels sure she can beat her competitors. All she has to do is hide, and she's an expert at that. It's the reason she's alive and her family isn't. But as the people around her begin disappearing, one by one, similar to my previous one, Mac realizes this competition is more sinister than she even imagined, and that together may be the only way to survive. 14 competitors, 7 days, everywhere to hide, nowhere to run. Come out, wherever you are.
Ooh. We hope we helped you find something to read, and thrillers are really popular in the library here.
Yeah, I believe most of my books you're going to have to look in info soup and put them on hold. That's what I had to do. I'm excited to add some of these to my to-be-read list. So thank you for watching. You know, you can find us on our Facebook page, on our YouTube channel for the Kimberly Public Library. Like, comment, share. We love to hear what you're reading. So until next time, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.